Johnson only. Your first speaker, Regina Imbergia.
Good morning. I'm Regina Imbergia from the 14th District, and I've been talking to you all about a 7-year trial with the EPA, and we won. On September 24th, the judge ruled that fluoride does cause brain damage, so it's official, and it's news everywhere, except the Dallas Morning News hasn't reported it, or D Magazine hasn't reported it, or FAA hasn't reported it. Curious. Now, it's interesting about WFAA because they were very ready to take an interview from District 7, and where District 7 was saying the people against fluoridation use scare tactics and conspiracy theories, and that there's no way that Dallas is going to stop fluoridation. That was a quote. Okay, well, another thing is Dr. Griffin Cole came to the Quality of Life Committee meeting back in November, and he was offering lots of information for you, Mayor, about fluoridation and the fact that the Cochrane report, which is very respected, just came out day before yesterday, that it does not have as much efficiency as they had said before. It was supposed to save 25% of the teeth, and that's not true. So it doesn't have the effectiveness. And then on top of it, we have the cost issue, where they constantly like to say, which I sent a handout, which I made this handout in 2018, and it was in the Dallas Gazette, and it shows that they say that it's cost effective, and it only, it's every person in Dallas only pays $49 a year. It's not true, because they're not taking all the costs into consideration, because the Dallas Water Utilities does not itemize the costs. Now, in Waxahachie, just a few years ago, they put in a fluoride tank, and it was $593,000 for that tank. Okay, so there's infrastructure, there's lots of other costs. If you just take the cost of the hydrofluorosilicic acid, like they do, and then prorate that out, that's where they come up with another lie. Okay, another thing, too, is the hydrofluorosilicic acid, which we talk about all the time, has the arsenic and the lead, and the Dallas Water Utilities cannot control the amount that goes into the water perfectly. Sometimes it's way over, sometimes it's under. So there's lots of problems. So the mayor's phone number is 214-670-3310. And what? 3301, not 10? Okay. We got the number right. Thank you. And please let the mayor know that we want to stop fluoridation, because we have the sickest society. We have the sickest society, and we don't need to be ingesting arsenic, lead, and fluoride. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe Stokes.
Joe Stokes, District 9. Could I have everybody's attention, please? Everyone's attention? Our kids are sick. 40% of our children have a chronic illness. They're being poisoned. Michael Conant, the lead attorney for the 7-year fluoride trial, did a great summation. It was a grand slam of a court decision. I could not have asked more thorough, more detailed, excellent opinion from the court. 80 pages, very detailed. The court concluded that adding fluoride chemicals to drinking water presents an unreasonable risk of IQ loss in children. I'll repeat, an unreasonable risk of IQ loss in children. And this is not at high levels. The judge specifically said at the levels that we are currently adding to drinking water, so-called optimal level of 0.7 parts per million, that presents an unreasonable risk of IQ loss in children. That's what the federal court ruled this week after 7 years. 7 years of litigation involving extensive expert testimony on both sides. The judge heard from the best of both sides of the issue. The EPA, the government put up their best experts. We put up our best experts. The judge heard very strong viewpoints on both sides. The full amount of evidence, and it reached this conclusion. Unreasonable risk to our children, Mayor. With fluoridation, over half the people in the world who drink fluoridated water live here in the United States. We are the most fluoridated nation on earth. And it's not just the water. We had fluoride to over 200 million people's water here in the U.S., but that just doesn't just stay in the water. It's contaminating our processed foods. It's contaminating our processed beverages. Keep in mind that the water supply feeds into the food supply. Michael Connick gives the background of the people's lawsuit. Here's a question, answer a very complicated question. How do you eliminate the risk posed by adding fluoride chemicals to drinking water? You convince the council, you show them the evidence, and they shut it off. You don't have to wait for the EPA to make a ruling. They're going to stall as long as they can because this revelation, the findings of this court has show that they are complicit in keeping this hidden and to keep the fluoride flowing. So, council, you can vote this out. The council voted it in. You are responsible for poisoning our children. Shall I repeat that? You are responsible for poisoning our children, and you can stop it. Thank you, Mayor.